After he brought talks on desperately needed relief to an abrupt halt on Twitter, the president is trying to reverse course, sort of. Today, Mr. Trump is advocating for an a la carte option with a series of small bills, including a standalone agreement for $1,200 stimulus checks, the same ones he added his signature to the last time. Democrats still want a comprehensive bill, which they argue will reach more Americans. But Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who's been involved in the negotiations, said it's not going to happen.
I'm not optimistic for a comprehensive deal. I am optimistic that there's about 10 things that we could do on a piecemeal basis if the Speaker is willing to put it before her members.
We learned in a tweet from Nancy Pelosi's aide that the Speaker and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin spoke by phone this morning. Mnuchin reportedly inquired about a standalone airline relief bill, and the Speaker reminded him that Republicans blocked that proposal on Friday. Joining me now is Politico senior writer Jake Sherman. He's also an MSNBC contributor. Jake, the president's back and forth makes less sense than Fish lyrics, and frankly, it's a lot less fun. Tell me exactly how this is being received on Capitol Hill, and what is the likelihood that millions of Americans are going to get the relief they need before Election Day?
It's like walking into a crowded square and speaking in like a native tongue from a faraway land. It doesn't make any sense, Katie. The president is advocating for something that Nancy Pelosi has been rejecting for 12 to 14 weeks. Mark Meadows knows this because he's been advocating for it for 12 to 14 weeks. Think about it from Nancy Pelosi's perspective. Again, I'm not advocating here. I'm just explaining from her point of view. Why would she do the $1,200 stimulus when she believes that the general that states and localities need $400 or $500 billion? So why would she accede to what the president wants while not getting what she believes is urgently necessary in other areas of funding? It's just, I understand what the president's trying to do here. He took the blame yesterday, just like he did during the shutdown in late 2018. And then he's now trying to shift the blame to Nancy Pelosi and say, well, Nancy Pelosi won't pass a $1,200 per check for the American people. Whereas in reality, no one thought that was a possibility. I will say, Katie, that it is possible that Congress could pass some sort of airline relief bill in the next couple weeks or months or whatever. That is something that Nancy Pelosi has signaled willingness, as you just mentioned at the top here, to pushing through without any other options. But otherwise, the president, it's amazing to me, Katie, because how many times have we been on this show wondering about the president's legislative strategy? Here we are in October of 2020, and he still does not have the even germs or seeds of a legislative strategy on Capitol Hill. It's astounding.
It's create chaos and then try to cure the chaos, and it's never been effective so far legislatively. Jake, we're going to put up on the screen just the impact of a lack of COVID relief talks, what it has for Americans. The impacts are felt all over the country. It's well beyond just the airline industry, which might get a bailout. Jake, Casey made this point. I had a debate about this with my husband last night when this tweet first came out. Why does the president think this benefits him, not having a negotiated relief bill, when he's underwater in all of the polling? I mean, are Republicans, do they feel like this sort of talk helps their reelection bids? Is Martha McSally happy about this? Is Joni Ernst happy about this? Is Lindsey Graham happy about this?
Well, we saw Susan Collins isn't happy about this because she said the negotiations should continue. It's unacceptable. I can't speak to the other ones because Congress is out of session. We haven't heard from them, even though I'm in the Capitol here. I would say this. I would say there's two dynamics at play. Any American president that we could think of would be salivating over $1 trillion of stimulus in the run up to the election. It would be just political wisdom would dictate he should take anything he could get and just get it through the Congress in any way he can. But there are legitimate concerns that Republicans would not be able to clear a massive $2 trillion package. Now, if the president were to use the power that he has and the sway that he has over the Republican Party and push that bill through, it could get through. He's not done that, and he's chosen here to not do that because Mitch McConnell believes, and rightfully so, that it wouldn't get many Republican votes in the Senate. But that's absolutely absent some sort of presidential intervention, which, again, if the president was willing to put some elbow grease into this, he could get it through very easily. And God, I'm telling you, having covered the Obama administration and his battles with John Boehner and Paul Ryan, if Barack Obama had the opportunity to push $1 trillion in stimulus at any point in time in his administration, he would jump at that opportunity in a split second.
Let's just make the point also that the Republican tax bill that Republicans and the president passed earlier on in this administration added a lot to the national debt. So the debt argument here is sort of nonsensical when you consider past actions. Also, just for our viewers' sake, I'm sure they've heard this by now, but it bears repeating. The chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, said it would be tragic if Congress didn't act, and that there is very little risk of overdoing it, that the American public, Main Street needs this relief. This pandemic is not going away until we have a vaccine, and the likelihood of the majority of Americans getting that vaccine, according to the officials, is not until the middle part of next year, spring at the earliest. Jake Sherman, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.